Good morning. Welcome to Reading the Science of Mind in 1 Year. I'm Reverend Rafe Ellis, Senior Minister and Spiritual Leader of the Center for Spiritual Living Common Ground in Central Maryland. Today is May 19th. And so what we do here is we listen to the reading of the day and we share perspectives. You're invited to share yours in the chat. I would love to hear what you think and how what the reading brings up for you. And then we just simply do a 5-minute meditative practice. And then we close out with a spiritual mind treatment, also known as an affirmative prayer. So let's get started.
Reading for May 19th, Science of Mind, A Philosophy of Faith, A Way of Life by Ernest Holmes. Reading from page 203, paragraph 4, through page 204, paragraph 4, using inclusive language.
Healing is clear thinking. Scientific mental healing is the result of clear thinking and logical reasoning, which presents itself to consciousness and is acted upon by mind. It is a systemic process of reasoning which unearths the mental cause or idea underlying disease and presents the truth about a person's being. For instance, say to yourself, God is all there is. There is only one life. When you are treating, if there is any slight point which is not clear, do not continue with the treatment. Stop at once. Go back to your analysis of ultimate reality and build your whole treatment upon it in order to get a clear consciousness. Repeat, God is all. There is but one power, intelligence, and consciousness in the universe, but one presence. This one presence cannot change. There is nothing for it to change into but itself. It is changeless, and it is my life now. It is in me now. Claim that no form of race consciousness, belief in limitation, subjective idea of limitation, thought of karma, fatalism, theology, or hell, horoscope, or any other false belief has power. Accept none of them. If you have ever believed in them, if you have ever believed that the stars govern you, or that your environment governs you, or that your opportunities govern you, recognize this as a hypnotic condition into which you have fallen, and deny every one of them until there is no longer anything in you that believes in them. This is a good way to clear your consciousness. We can readily see what it does. It induces a clear concept of reality, which must reproduce itself. This process of clean thinking, if carried out every day, will heal. When you are giving a treatment, you are thinking. You are meeting, opposing, neutralizing, erasing, and obliterating suppression, fear, doubt, failure, morbid emotion, and sense of loss. Whatever the trouble may be, every time your thought hits fairly and squarely, it erases just as definitely as one would erase a chalk line. Such is the mystery of the appearance and the disappearance of thought.
Okay. So I want to, there's a lot that can be misunderstood because of language. Let's just own that right from the beginning. I love the first full paragraph on page 204. Repeat, God is all there is but one power, intelligence, and consciousness in the universe. One presence. This one presence cannot change. Now, that can be confusing for us, right? Because we are constantly seeing change. And so it's important to understand that Ernest Holmes' reference here to the infinite as changeless is not talking about the infinite ways that consciousness expresses, right? Because those are constantly changing. That is the whole point of one infinite possibility expressing in multiplicity, is to expand its expression and experience of itself. What's important for us to grasp is that the essence, the substance, even though the form changes, what the substance is isn't changing. Imagine it like the ocean, a mud puddle, an ice cube. All of them are water. The principles of water haven't changed. The form of water has changed. Okay? And so that's what is being referred to as changeless, the substance of creation. And he follows that there is nothing for it to change into but itself, and itself is infinite possibility. Right? Um, I want to go to this list of claim that no form of race suggestion, belief in limitation, subjective idea of limitation, thought of karma, fatalism. He goes through the whole list, the horoscope, all that. The key to that sentence is this: has power. What Holmes is offering us, and much of this whole book is about, is to bring us back to remembering that there's only one power. Right? All those things that he listed are ideas, but they're not separate power. There's no separate karmic power. Right? Karma is an idea, it's an understanding of the law of reciprocity, which is still one power. Right? Um, we live in a reciprocal universe. We see that everywhere. Rain falls, water evaporates, rain falls, water evaporates. Um, sun comes up, goes across, goes down. Everything is reciprocal. Everything. Um, and so it's not so much that those things, it's, I love that. Although I do like my horoscope, my daily astrology readings. And absolutely, there's nothing that says don't enjoy those. Just remember, they don't have their own power. They're not a power unto themselves. It's not like, because some people actually believe that whatever the horoscope says, whatever the astrological reading is, that is a power unto itself that is dictating the day. And what Holmes is reminding us is that there is only one power. And why does it express the way that it does? Because our thoughts move it into expression. How we use reality. And it can't act against itself. And so when we bring in the idea of a secondary power, we find ourselves with a whole lot of angst and discomfort, because now we're acting out of alignment with the truth of our being, if that makes sense. Um, and that's the whole experience of discord. And if we stay in discord long enough, we create an experience of hell. Right? Doesn't make hell an actual residence. We can create hell anywhere, any day, anytime. And just as easily as we create it, we can uncreate it. Change your thinking, change your life. There's one reality, one consciousness. We're all using it. Thought moves it into being. And it really isn't any more complicated than that. um, doesn't mean it's easy to wrap our heads around. It just means it's really quite simple. Uh, and once my experience is, once we get it, there's no ungetting it. There's no forgetting it. We can momentarily lose sight of it, but something in us always remembers. I am glad this is an inspirational message for you, dear Gail. So glad. I love this time that we all spend together. Whenever you're watching it, um, I love getting up and doing it. It it feeds me, and I'm glad that it feeds you as well. So let's go into our time of meditation and contemplation, and I will close us out with a spiritual mind treatment. one, 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 only one, one power, one breath, one substance, one intelligence, one, always one. And it is everywhere present. One reality that is the substance of all that is real. Consciousness itself, consciousness as the self existent substance of creation, changeless because it already is everything. It is simply expressing the infinite possibility that is itself in newness of form without ever changing what it is or using any of itself up. Nameless. Nameless because names are simply an idea, and it is beyond any one idea. It is every name and it is no name. Nameless, infinite possibility. And yet many of us know it as God, as the infinite, as the divine, as spirit, the great mystery. It is each of these things and so much more. And it is the very essence and substance of my being. It is expressing itself individualized as me. And so this life I live is the life of one life unfolding itself perfectly, harmoniously within itself as itself. Its intelligence is my intelligence. Life's abundance is my abundance. The substance of consciousness itself, absolute reality, is the substance of my being. And so all of it must reside. And yet the idea of me, the individualization of me, is never all of it. Because what is true of me is true of every expression of life, of consciousness, of this one substance. So I speak my word, claiming and affirming the awakening of humanity to that brilliance, to the truth of being that only is wholeness, that awakens to the reality that any separation is a discordant activity in the whole. So we are each awakening to that recommitment of wholeness, to holding the idea of one as the primary idea, the primary truth that is expressing itself in life. And this individualization of me and the individualization of you and the individualization of all. One power, one presence, unfolding itself magnificently in alignment with itself. And so it can only always be for good. Even in those moments that I don't understand the goodness of it, life is always unfolding itself perfectly. So I claim and affirm an alignment of my thinking with the alignment of my being. So that I am living in integrity, the divine self, the human self, in perfect alignment. Claiming and affirming the reality that as I do that with myself, I naturally, effortlessly do that with all of life. Resisting nothing. I grow in a deeper understanding of who and what I am. And as I do, I instantly know the truth of every expression of the oneness that we are. And I am grateful, so incredibly grateful for that activity of the creative process that only knows yes, that is never divided against itself, that doesn't filter or oppose or second guess. It simply says yes and makes it so. That part of the creative process that simply does what it is given to do. So I know that it is already acted upon. My word spoken this morning, my word being the word of the infinite, speaking itself into the activity of itself, and it is done. So I can celebrate by letting go of all of those secondary doubts, all of those hidden what ifs, all of the uh-ohs, all of the anythings in my human thought that would in any way diminish my experience of the full expression of the word made manifest. So I let go and I step 100% into what is the word made manifest. It is done. Ashe. Shalom. Aho. Amin. Amen. And so it is. I love you.